We're watching the Dow right now. It is down now just 95 points, had been down certainly earlier about 193. So we've lopped 100 points off the losses here. The sand is officially trickling down inside the hourglass as we speak. As Congress punches the clock and gets back to work, a government shutdown is looming on the horizon. Yes, that again. If Republicans and Democrats don't reach a budget deal by 12:01 a.m. December 8th. Now, we've seen this scenario play out dozens of times before, but could President Trump's insistence on funding the border wall implode any chance of compromise on a budget across party lines? Or is the president ready to play ball? Joining us now from both sides of the aisle, Senior Vice President for the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, Marc Goldwein, who served on the National Commission of Fiscal Responsibility under President Obama. And we're also joined by the Heritage Foundation's Romina Boccia, a leading fiscal and economic expert. She often advises members of Congress on fiscal policy issues. Romina, I'm going to start with you. How ironclad, you're familiar with the president's thinking, is the president's promise that he won't accept a budget that doesn't have border wall funding?
Well, I think arguably the president's hand was strongest to use this as a leverage point before the election and before about 80% of the budget was enacted into law. Defense, labor, HHS, those bills have already been taken care of. So any government shutdown now would be at best partial and very likely people wouldn't even notice it. So I don't think we'll see a partial government shutdown. What I could imagine is potentially punting until next year to give the next Congress an ability to shape those spending bills. That could look like another continuing resolution getting us into maybe January or February.
Marc, right after the House flipped to Democrat control last week after the midterms, the president actually opened the door a crack when asked whether he would insist on wall funding in exchange for, signing legislation to finance several key government agencies. He said not necessarily, and the president's been known to surprise. Where's the wiggle room on the Democrat side? What would they be willing to give?
Well, in exchange for the wall, Democrats might ask for some relief of DACA, the immigration program. But for the most part, these appropriation bills are a done deal. They already decided on the top line number. They already have options in the Senate and in the House. So they just need to work out these few little issues, for example, the wall, and move on to dealing with the bigger issues.
Well, some of the bigger issues, one might argue, Rowena, are things like entitlements. We now see what the proposed 2019 budget has in it, and it is a lot more spending. So we're talking about a bigger deficit because we're looking after a tax cut at the fewest in revenues from corporate America in tax revenues that we've seen in 75 years. They're paying less because they got a big tax cut. Okay, fine. But how are we then going to pay for more? Let's listen to what the president said. He said in the past he will not touch Social Security. Listen.
We will protect Medicare and Social Security. And you remember on the debate stage, I would always defend Social Security when other guys wanted to tear it apart. Well, guess what? We haven't touched Social Security.
Okay, that was a week and a half ago at Indianapolis. Rowena, then where are we going to get the money from to fill this?
Well, the president has put some reforms in his budget to address the Social Security disability insurance program. And I think the White House would also be open to reforms that would make Medicare more efficient, more effective, without reducing benefits available to seniors, but still making the program run more cheaply. I think Medicaid is very much still on the table. Reforms to health care more broadly, to Obamacare subsidies, and some of the regulations that are driving up health care costs are on the table, all of which could help save significant amounts of money in the next budget. The president has also asked his agencies to find at least a nickel from every department to allow for a lower budget next year. So I'm optimistic that the president will continue to push for these spending cuts because it's the only way to make the tax cuts last and have them be sustainable. Otherwise, rising deficit pressures will likely lead to higher taxes in the near future.
Well, it's spending pressures, too. And Marc, we've got to see spending cut back. Republicans didn't do it in the first 2 years. Will Democrats? And by the way, when you talk about compromise, remember the Gang of Eight, Marc? The Gang of Eight was 4 Democratic senators, 4 Republicans. When Lindsey Graham and Bob Menendez are working together and Dick Durbin and Marco Rubio, they came together and said we can increase security on the border wall, but also find a path to immigration. It passed in the Senate. It would not even be taken up by the GOP House back then. You tell me, can we come to a point where we can maybe put that back out there, have some compromise, and pass a budget?
Well, my concern is that the type of compromise that might happen might be the bad kind. So, for example, we had a great bipartisan budget deal last year. All it did was increase spending by $150 billion a year for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's the wrong kind of compromise. Democrats get all the non-defense they want. Republicans get all the defense they want, and our kids pay the price.
Boy, isn't that the truth? All right, let's just hope that we're going to not have a continuing resolution and we might have a budget. Paul, it's great. Marc, it's great to have you. Romina, thank you so much for joining us.